His attitude and the battles it engendered were beginning to take a toll. He was the third CEO of worldwide hotels in the last 5 years. He'd been brought in to improve the bottom line after Worldwide was acquired by a larger chain to add some class to its image. Though Worldwide continued to operate as a separate division with its own corporate identity, in Gracie's view, the small chain of exclusive luxury inns was in serious danger of losing its reputation and its clientele. The wilted daffodil in her hand was symptomatic of the problem. Less than an hour later, after inspecting every nook and cranny of the hotel, she dropped the flower on Max's desk and said just that. He peered down his long, aristocratic nose at her, glanced at the broken petals, then sighed with evident exasperation. "What is it now, Miss MacDougal?" he asked, as always, reverting to formality to indicate his own annoyance with her. "The flowers weren't changed this morning as they should have been," she said. "There is no need to change them daily. We've discussed that. Every 3 days will be sufficient, and we'll cut the flower budget by 2/3. And our guests will find wilted flowers in the lobby and assume that if we no longer care about appearances in such a public area, we will be even more careless in places they don't see, such as the kitchen. Details like this make a lasting impression. If you doubt it, check the reservation book. We're booked solid for the next month." "And this time last year we were booked solid for 6 months in advance," she countered. "At this rate, we'll have rooms available for every Tom, Dick, and Harry who forgot to book a reservation before leaving the States." "Don't exaggerate, Gracie." "It's true." She studied Max intently. "You really don't see it, do you? You don't see what you're doing to this hotel, to this entire chain." "Have dinner with me tonight and explain it," he suggested. This time she was the one who sighed in exasperation. The man was relentless when it came down to something he wanted, namely her. On paper, she and Max Devereaux were a perfect match. They were both tall. Even at 5'8", she barely reached his chin. Max had dashing Cary Grant looks. Gracie prided herself on her polished, classic appearance. Max's intelligence, his quick rise in the international hotel industry, paralleled hers. But the man had no real passion for it. It was all numbers to him. Gracie cared about the guests and their comfort, the lasting impression they would take home with them. Max worried only about the size of their bill. No, she concluded, it would never have worked. He was certainly bright enough to have figured that out for himself, but his masculine ego kept him in the game. With another man, the unwanted attention might have bordered on harassment, but there'd never once, in any way, been a hint that Gracie's job hinged on whether she said yes or no. Asking was just something Max did, pretty much like breathing. "Max, I will not have dinner with you," she told him for the umpteenth time. "Not tonight, not ever. How many times do I have to say it?" "Not even to save your precious flower budget?" "No, Max, it's a very bad idea. You're my boss. Socializing would only complicate things. Besides, you and I don't see eye to eye on anything. We'd just ruin our digestion." He shrugged as he always did after she'd rejected one of his invitations. "Suit yourself." He returned his attention to the paperwork in front of him, dismissing Gracie as clearly as if he'd gestured toward the door. Maybe it was because she was tired, or frustrated, or angry, or all three, but Gracie stared at Max's downturned head for several minutes, then reached a decision that had been several weeks in the making. "I quit," she said softly but firmly. That brought his head up. "What?" For an instant, shock registered in his usually cool gray eyes. "You heard me. I quit." "Now, Gracie, don't you now Gracie me," she snapped back. "You won't listen to a thing I say. You're determined to run this chain as if it were a string of economy hotels. Obviously, I am no longer of any value to Worldwide, so I might as well take my expertise to another hotel chain where they care about appearances and service and comfort.